So welcome everybody to the Daily Intimacy. It is Tuesday, April 6th. Let's begin with a centering meditation. So I invite you wherever you are, however you are, to find yourself comfortable. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. You can give yourself a little wiggle and a shake. Shake off the sleep. Whatever needs to be released from the sleep last night. Yeah. It's nice to have the soul journeying and traveling, but it's also stuff to release when we wake up. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already, and just bring your attention inward. Some of you have done the consciousness lock with me before. I'm going to review it. You can keep your eyes closed. I'll just speak it into the room. So you're going to put your hands out in front of you, palms out. This is the sort of, yes, I am attuned to everything going on outside me. This is just a sort of confirmation of that is the way that I see it. And also to give you a chance to just notice like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of my kids or my work, or I'm aware of my external surroundings, as we all are, of course. With a breath, I invite you to close your hands gently and bring them to your lap. Now you're in the bubble, or some of you have heard me use the metaphor of being in the airport and then moving into the tunnel and waiting in that space. It's a transitional space. I invite you to imagine a bubble over your head and behind you. So you're sitting inside that bubble, letting go a bit of all of those outside things, influences. Is coming into yourself now. And when you're in this bubble, I invite you to connect with the earth beneath you. Bring some of her energy into the bubble space. Earth, our bodies, one and the same. So you're just sort of expanding your awareness that you are the earth is you, making that connection known. And then one hand to the heart, one hand to the third chakra, still in fists, right below the rib cage. And now stepping onto the plane, going on a journey inside, open up the hands. And now you're inside yourself. One hand on the heart, one hand on the third chakra. Allow your attention to move to the back of your body, the back of your head, where the pineal gland is there. Giving her some of your attention. She can release some of her good juju, good feeling hormones from the pineal gland. Attention to the back of your body where the spine is supporting you and lifting you up. Gratitude for the spine. Maybe come down to the hips and some gratitude for your body. So just notice when you're inside how different it is than when you're attuned outside. And from this space, you're aligned with yourself. You can resource from the inside. You can follow your inner guidance. Good. And just notice what you're noticing. And then a breath in. Exhale, gently open your eyes. You can release your hands. Come on back. And I just want to say a thank you to David Waldis, who brought that meditation to me. So I'm just putting him in the the chat there. Beautiful human with lovely gifts to offer. And some of you met him. It was like a year ago now, if you were at the Daily Intimacy when he came. We didn't celebrate our 1 year. I need to look up the date, but it certainly was over a year ago. That's for sure. It was in March 2020 that we began. So I'm really excited today. I know that some of you have been hearing me say that I have invited several of my, what we call allies in the Jaguar path, to bring their gifts, which there are so many of. You met Bonnie last week. You met Missy, who's here today participating. And today you're going to meet Heather, who is really a rock star because at 25, she's, I think you said, on your second career. And you've had some miraculous healing, which I always find so inspiring as I continue on my own healing journey, body, mind, and spirit. I call healing miraculous. I don't know what you'll call it, but anyway, so I think, Heather, do you think people should go out and do the quiz right now? Or do you want to, why don't you tell your story first and say hi, and then we'll send people to take the quiz.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I think it's morning for all of us. Yes, it's a beautiful sunny morning. I am joining you from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, home of Bradley International Airport. That's what we're known for. We have an airport and a bowling alley, but no supermarket.
We can fly, but we can't eat.
Exactly. So let me just get myself organized here.
So thanks for being here. It's sweet to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robyn, for having me. I'm so glad there are so many faces.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am turning 26 this year, and Ayurveda is my second career. I started off as a stage manager in New York City, lived that life for a bit, sort of lost my soul in the process, and was going through a lot of health issues. So I decided when I was at a yoga retreat up in San Luis Obispo, California, that I wanted to do something to help others that were sort of lost in the shuffle in Western medicine, in the system, whether it be they couldn't get the help they needed, nobody could figure out what was wrong with them and such. I have endometriosis, diagnosed at 22, suffering from age 10. And so that is the main reason why I wanted to be able to help others, because I found healing in all the right places, of course, but all the natural ways: acupuncture, chiropractic, and Ayurveda has actually, it's made a huge difference in my life. And it helps me remember to take care of myself. And it can be easy to beat yourself up when you know you're not doing what you think you should be doing or what you're supposed to be doing. But there are so many ways through Ayurveda, just through lifestyle alone, that can make a difference in your life. And so I hope to start your informative journey with Ayurveda. And I don't know, maybe Robyn will ask me to come back and we can learn about something else, because the learning never ends. I will be graduating with my master's degree in June out of a 3-year program, and all I can think about is, okay, what program am I going to do next?
What program are you in now, Heather? What's the school?
I am in the master's program with Maharishi International University,
So I figured,
formerly known as Maharishi University of Management. And it is in Fairfield, Iowa,
right.
A lovely town in the middle of nowhere. But if for some happenstance you ever get a chance to go out to Fairfield, there are so many wonderful people there. So many great healers and artists.
There are. I know that area.
Yeah, and they all support each other, and it's just really, it's a beautiful community.
Wow.
So yes, so that is a little bit about my journey. I think what we should do next, I know Robyn sent out an email last night that you may or may not have gotten with what we call a Dosha quiz. So we're basically going to have you figure out what your constitution is. So I can actually share my screen and give you the link.
Okay, is it the same one that's in the chat, or should we have people do?
Or let's do the one in the chat. I'll repost it here. We'll give you a few minutes to take this quiz.
Oh wait, that's the different one. Here's the quiz. There's the
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So the one where it says determine your dosha here, it takes, what we decide, just like a minute or two or 3.
A few minutes, yeah.
A few minutes, not much, very short and easy and really interesting. So what we want to suggest, if you haven't done it already, I sent the link last night. We want to have you do that right now.
We got one.
Click on the link
Perfect.
there. It'll bring you to the Banyan page, which is a place I order some of my supplements from. And you can find out your dosha, your constitution, as Heather said.
And we will be using that information later on.
Yeah.
So take a few minutes to do that. If you've already done that, as I think Paul was showing us, I actually posted a link above that is also on Banyan Botanical's website. It's just it's an Ayurvedic glossary. So if you're curious, if you've heard a word and you don't know what it means, you can check out the glossary. While we wait, I'm going to put on a little Gandharva Veda music until we hear from those in the chat that seems like everyone has taken the quiz.
Yeah, when you come back, post your constitution if you want to in the chat. In the meantime, we have some beautiful music. Thank you, Heather. Great. And Heather just added another resource. And if the first quiz didn't work for you for some reason, there's another. Did you put music on, Heather? I don't hear it.
Oh, I did. You can't hear it from your end?
You have to share your screen, I think.
Ah. Learning things. Learning things. Here we go. Whoops, sorry.
You have to share where it says audio. Yeah, it might not work today. That's okay though. You share a screen and then it says like
share sound.
There we go. Yay.
Cindy, which quiz are you looking for? The Banyan Botanical ones? I can repost that link for you.
Oh yeah, she may have private chatted you.
Oh, yep, there we go. So this is actually some music that I love to listen to before bed. There's actually an app. I think it's like $5 a year.
Oh, wow.
And it's called the Maharishi Veda app. I can put it in the chat. It'll give you, this is Gandharva Veda music. And Gandharva Veda actually, there are different melodies, or there's a different structure for each 2 hours throughout the day. And it's all improvised, which I find fascinating. If you can ever watch someone play a sitar Gandharva Veda live concert, do yourself a favor and watch it and meditate and just enjoy the bliss.
That's beautiful.
Obviously each melody is different. So if you're listening to it between 1 and 3, that's going to be different than if you're listening to it between, I think it's 7 and 9. It's very calming. And it actually, they've done a lot of research, and they've studied that these particular melodies at these certain times of day are either meant to help boost your brain function or help you relax to go to sleep. And of course, all the others in between, but it does actually have an effect on the brain. So if it's scientifically proven, then, you know, I say, why not?
All right, they're starting to come in. Let's give it another 30 seconds or so. Yeah, well, that sounds interesting. Yeah, Heather, I'd love to learn about that app. That sounds, the music is beautiful.
I will find it for you, and maybe you could send it out in an email.
Yeah, that'd be great. What's it called?
Absolutely. It's called the Maharishi Veda, Veda. Veda. It's a yellow little app.
It popped right up. Wow, it's beautiful.
And it's got everything. I mean, you can choose just from the sitar, you can choose just from the flute. It does give you the pundits chantings for the day, because of course they're different every day. It's got a lot in there. I definitely don't use it to its advantage.
Sounds lovely for sleep. Pitta Kapha. Me too, Laura. All right, so it looks like I think we're ready. Let's let's pause. Oh, you did it already. That's great. All right, so sorry, scrolling. Yeah, if you want to share what your results were, feel free. It's nice to see all the variety, and then like the similarities. Ooh, Vata Kapha. Thanks, Diane. 2 Vata Kapha, Vlad too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will speak on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about that one. All right, Heather.
So actually, Jan, if you don't mind me picking you out of the crowd here, you said you had a lot of trouble with the quiz. Would you like us to go over it together as a group for you, and we can determine what your constitution is, or you and I can just chat? Okay, you and I will chat later. How's that?
Sounds good.
Sounds perfect. And I will mention now, and I'll probably mention again at some point, Robyn does have my email, and you can find me on Facebook. You're welcome to email me any questions you may have, if you'd like to learn more about something. This is my sort of professional debut into the world as my second career. So yeah, any information you want, happy to give. So
All right.
if I find.
It's a good question, Laura. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Also, yeah, very interesting question. Very good question. All right. We're gonna start this, and we already sort of went through this.
What the heck is this Ayurveda thing?
How is there's a, just by raising your hands, how many people have heard of Ayurveda before today? Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Okay. Perfect. So some of you may know Ayurveda, it's a natural form of healing that originated in India over 5,000 years ago. And it is based on a multimodality approach when it comes to care. And when we talk about care, ideally, we're talking about preventing disease. Whereas here in Western medicine, it's all about curing things. In Ayurveda, we want to get to the point where there's no disease to cure. It's all about prevention. So instead of getting to the point where someone is pre-diabetic, we'd like to prevent them from getting to the point where they're pre-diabetic. There are two, sorry, we might have a cat visitor later. There are really two ways that we, two things that we focus on, at least in our degree. And it is a form of meditation called Transcendental Meditation. And I have posted the link below. It's just tm.org. It's a very beautiful form of meditation. They give you a mantra. They tell you how to, oh, sorry, I was just catching up on the chat. Yes, tm.org.
Don't worry about the chat. I'll take care of it.
Okay. It's a really beautiful ceremony at the end when you finish the training. I think it's 3 or 4 days of just a couple hours a piece. And it really helps you dive deeper into your consciousness. And there are, I believe, 6 levels of consciousness. The last and final level being cosmic consciousness. And that is, in Ayurveda, that is the ultimate goal to achieve. And in terms of diagnosis, our main form that we use is through pulse diagnosis, and that's called Nadi Vigyan. So what we do is we will, can't see my own video, not that I want to, but okay, so we will use the wrist and we will take our fingers and we will find 3 points on the wrist that are very distinctive. And each finger represents a dosha, which you all just determined your constitution. This is how we determine your imbalances. It's called the Vikriti, and the constitution is called the Prakriti. If you have any imbalances, it's actually more beneficial. Well, not beneficial, sorry. It's better if your Prakriti is different than your imbalances, because that means that the body is trying to balance itself. It means the body is working towards balance, which is what we want. The phrase that our Vaidya says is Sama Agni, Sama Dosha, Sama Dhatu. And that means balanced digestive fire, balanced dosha as in balanced constitution, balanced pulse, and balanced dhatus. Dhatus are the tissues that make up our body. And you can also do some research if you'd like on the David Lynch Foundation. They do a lot with the TM movement, and they help provide it to kids that are at risk or in living in poverty that can't otherwise access it. And it's shown to be an incredible tool in terms of stress reduction. It can even, it's been shown to decrease blood pressure and cholesterol, and of course activate your brain waves more because you are diving deeper into the consciousness levels. So just a little bit about Ayurveda. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. This is our dosha quiz. Now we go to the doshas. So Vata dosha is the first dosha. It corresponds with the nervous system in the body. So it's going to be your main dosha, and it's responsible for movement throughout the body as well as communication. And of course, we need both of those things to live. Pitta dosha is the second dosha. That is mainly for transformation. Pitta is associated with digestion, with Agni, as we call it, Agni. And then Kapha dosha is the third dosha, and that's mainly for nourishment. So when we go into each dosha has certain gunas or qualities attached to them, as you can see here on your screen. Vata is cold, dry, light, subtle, clear, flowing, hard, rough, mobile. Pitta is hot, light, flowing, clear, mobile, and sharp. And Kapha is cold, wet, heavy, gross, dull, dense, static, soft, smooth, and cloudy. And primarily, those are the qualities that we look for in the pulse. And that is how we determine what imbalances you have. And of course, it goes deeper into that. There are things called subdoshas that go further down from each dosha. They break into 5 categories.
So Heather, I'm just going to jump in.
Yes, no, please. I was just about to say, let's talk about the quiz.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, and I think this is right, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we all have all 3. And the
Yes.
kind of the goal, if you will, or intention of Ayurveda is to have a balance of each. And the
Exactly.
quiz tells us which ones are stronger or more in the forefront.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the goal is to be Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the same numbers all across, but that is very, very rare to see all 3 doshas predominantly in someone.
Right.
As I mentioned in the chat, I am Pitta Kapha. I'm sorry, I am Kapha Pitta. I have more Kapha qualities than Pitta qualities, which is why I put Kapha first. Robyn said that she is Pitta Kapha. So let's dive into what you guys got. I saw the chat. I saw what was going on. Oops.
So it might be helpful to say more about the qualities.
Question. Absolutely.
I think because, you know, this is helpful to see like more the kind of energetic qualities, but like the way that I understand Pitta Kapha for myself is that the Pitta is like, I've got this fire and this passion and this like
exactly
a lot of transformation, like energy moving. And then I have this kind of Kapha that's like, I like to like be solid and on the ground, and like I like to take naps and you know,
totally
like this. It's interesting to me that I have both, because one feels more like moving and walking and energized, and the other feels more like I'm just going to sit here and meditate.
That's totally fair. Yeah, let's do that. Forgive me, folks. This is my very first. There's so much to cover with Ayurveda.
Let's go into each dosha and what you just know yourself about them. Like, what do you know about?
Oh, Vata? Absolutely.
I just talked about Pitta and Kapha a lot, but what do you know about Vata? That's one I don't know a lot about, because it's not a big part of me anyway.
Sure. So I might be able to pull up a document here. But basically, the funny thing to learn after seeing some answers in the chat, Vata and Kapha are complete opposites. So if one exists, it's going to outweigh the other. The easiest way to describe it is in the pulse. If Vata is increased, Kapha will always be decreased, and vice versa. Pitta is its own thing. Pitta folks have very sharp, strong hunger, can't skip a meal. Do we have any folks like that? Raise your hand if you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah. What else about Pitta?
Pitta folks, in terms of face, you have a sharp nose, very piercing eyes. You'll have a more of a reddish skin complexion, because Pitta is also associated with inflammation. So if you suffer from a lot of inflammatory, just inflammation in general, inflammatory disorders, you will have what we call a Pitta imbalance. So sometimes if you're getting this answer from this quiz and you're saying, well, I have a lot of Pitta in me, but it's not really showing Pitta that strongly, it could be that it's your imbalance you're thinking of. Whereas your constitution, that doesn't change as frequently. Kapha people are very stable, reliable people. They tend to have the logic in things. They take their time. It's very easy for us to skip a meal. I don't know, is that true for anyone here besides myself? No? All right. Yeah, okay, Leslie Ann, maybe. Yep. Like you forget to eat, and okay, and Deborah too. And the way I like to describe Vata people are, they're sort of the take charge people. Pitta folks sort of run, like, they can talk forever and they may never stop talking. Vata people are going to be not stable is the word I'm looking for, steady, and they'll be able to be, they're usually the leaders of the group. Their digestion is sort of irregular. they tend to like to eat their meals on time, but they're not totally Pitta where I have to eat, it's 12 o'clock on the dot, I need lunch. You know, they can eat in that window. Anyone like that? We're like, yeah, it's lunchtime, I should eat now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, lost you guys for a second. Kapha folks are going to have rounder faces, rounder joints. You're not really going to be able to see them. They're going to be well covered.
Laura.
Vata folks, do we have anyone that perhaps got Vata as their main dosha that would like to be an example for the group? I know it's putting
Okay.
someone on the spot.
Put me in the chat if your primary dosha was Vata. I think I saw one or two. If you want to be,
if you'd like, yeah.
Conversation. I thought
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. But okay, we don't have any.
All right, that's okay.
We do have like Kapha Vata, but not Vata first. Pitta Vata.
Pitta Vata, yeah. Okay. All right.
A lot of Pitta Vata. A lot of Pitta Vata, actually. Do you want somebody with Pitta Vata to unmute?
Sure, if you'd like. We can.
Oh, Vata Kapha was Vlad.
Okay.
Let's have Richard unmute. Go ahead.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm certified yoga instructor, so I had some training in this a little bit. It would just pass through it in the yoga training.
Okay.
So it's interesting, in the past I was more of a Vata Pitta type, and now I'm testing out as a Pitta Vata type. And maybe the pandemic is biased me more toward a Pitta state. I think that's true. A lot of anxiety and heightened intensity. More fiery. I do feel more fiery, which is Pitta.
Okay. Yeah.
More fiery. So yeah.
Everything you're describing is Vata Pitta for sure. A lot of the times when we notice our constitution changing is usually dependent on where we are in life, and by age. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but those that are, sorry?
64.
64, okay. Those that are past 60 in age, that is the Vata stage of life. So, and that's generally why we see more things like arthritis, osteoporosis in folks over 60, because Vata is very drying. So you lose that lubrication in the joints. So in terms of, I found some interesting information. Well, interesting to me, of course. It's nice to have a refresher of all of this is sort of the early stuff for me. Balanced Vata represents as fluid movement, mental alertness, normal digestion. You're having a bowel movement as soon as you wake up in the morning. Strong immunity, proper formation of your body tissues, sound sleep, undisturbed, enthusiasm, and creativity. So that is what a balanced Vata dosha looks like. A balanced Pitta dosha, strong digestion. You've got that fire. You need that food right away. Strong metabolism.
Yeah.
Regular / normal body temperature.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Strong mental concentration.
Yeah.
Sharp intellect. A lustrous complexion. Good energy and contentment in life. Richard, you seem like you might be pretty content in life, pandemic aside.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Ayurveda sort of figured out how they would fit into this pandemic.
How people would shift.
Exactly. And the shift is most likely temporary, we hope.
Right.
So I would be very curious for you all to retake this dosha quiz in 5 years and see what results you get, because you'll also most likely be in a different stage of life.
Right. I took it 5 years ago, I guess, at the yoga.
Okay.
Training. More Vata than now more Pitta, which makes sense. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Laura was, asking in the chat, that she said, her mom had just died and feels like maybe you can speak for yourself, Laura, if you want to unmute, but it's a good question. Does it impact? It sounds like you're saying yes, but don't we also have like a kind of like born with constitution or no?
We do. Yes, it's sort of the basis of everything. Like Richard said, when he took the quiz before, it showed up as more Vata Pitta, and now it's showing up more as Pitta Vata. So he still has those qualities. They're changing what's predominant. When I look at my imbalances, the 3 are basically all at the same level. Oh, like they're balanced. That's very interesting. Would you like to speak on that?
I don't know. I just looked at the chart, and Vata is like incrementally shifted up, but they're all like with the same, very skinny place on the chart. And so my read of that is that they're all kind of at the same level. I mean, maybe they're all slightly elevated, but I don't really know what that means. But in the chart, they're all kind of halfway elevated, which feels balanced to me. Yeah, that's how I'm reading it.
Wow. Yeah, and that's what it sounds like, is that it is balanced in the chart. I would love to connect with you after this and dive in a little deeper if you're willing, Laura.
I'm always willing.
Cool. Yeah. I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious. I can't say I have met anyone in this circumstance before.
Cool. So Heather,
and then just to round it out, we've got we've got balanced kapha, structure, stability, lots of lubrication in the joints, muscular strength, good stamina, very calm and affectionate and generous is what I like to point out.
Nice.
Yes, Robyn. What would you
like? I was just wondering, like, what do we do when we're, like, for me or for anyone here, we've got our 2. So give us an example of what would be useful in terms of how to balance. Like for me, it would be bringing more Vata because I have Pitta first and then Kapha second. So
yes.
How do I do that?
We can do that in different ways. The thing is, you don't want to try to balance your constitution in that sense. You would look for the imbalance in the pulse, and that's what you would try to balance. And by balancing whatever is out of balance in the physiology, then your constitution should be more well-rounded, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what would you suggest for someone? You don't need to read the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you suggest somebody do who has, if
you're sort of lacking in a dosha per se?
Yeah.
Yes. There are different dosha diets that we have. Thanks, Marcy, for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. There are different dosha diets we have that favor foods and spices that can help increase a certain dosha.
Cool. Can you give us an example, like how to increase Vata? If you know off the top of your head, I don't know if you do. Putting Heather on the spot.
It's difficult to say just because I don't know what's going on in the pulse. So I don't want to give anyone misinformation. But I can tell you a few quick lifestyle things that you can add to your daily routine that will just help balance you overall.
That'd be great.
The main thing, tongue scraper. Can't really see it. I scrape my tongue every morning. I do sell them on my Etsy shop and you'll get a discount. That helps if you have what we call ama in the system. Ama is just basically a lot of undigested food that's sitting around that may cause weight gain. It may cause lethargy, fatigue, stuff like that. Really easy to do once or twice in the morning when you first wake up.
So as I understand it, it sort of leaves like a layer on your tongue. And when you wake up in the morning and you look at your tongue, you can notice it's like usually white.
It can be all different colors.
I guess. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. I have a whole poster on tongue diagnosis there. Yeah. Cool. So that is a simple, easy thing you can get for $10 to do every morning. Another thing is what we call Garshana, which is basically just a dry massage of the body. Depending on your constitution, you may be able to add oil to that. If you have a lot of ama in the system, you don't want to add oil because it'll just make all the ama stay in one place. So we have what we call Garshana gloves, which I personally use every day. Usually more of the Kapha predominant folks are going to want to just do a dry massage, arms and legs, really. Banyan Botanicals does actually have a video of what we call abhyanga, which is the dry massage with oil. That's something you can do in the morning before your shower. Helps move everything around. And then one other thing that we love in Ayurveda is rose water. You can use rose water for so many different things. One of the things is you can do eye washes with rose water. So you have the little eye cups, you fill it halfway with water, halfway with rose water, and it'll just help refresh your eyes, keep them healthy. It's also great for the skin. So this one particularly, I mist on my face. You can mist it on your body. You can add it to bath water. You can even cook with it. And there are actually a lot of recipes in Ayurveda that involve rose petal jam or rose water. So it's different from rose oil. Yes, definitely different. You want to make sure that you're getting either just rose water or a rose hydrosol. As rose oil, if I understand you correctly, is going to be the rose essential oil, and that's not necessarily for consumption.
No.
It's a whole different topic. But those are a few things you can do. Go to bed before 10 p.m. Keeping a regular routine. So generally speaking, in Ayurveda, they like you to wake up around 6 every day. Personally, that doesn't really work for me, but if you can get to bed between 9:30, that's ideal. You want to have your meals at the same time every day. Lunch should be your largest meal of the day because that's when your digestive fire is at its peak. So lunch should be between 12 and 2. And dinner should be just a smaller version of lunch. One thing I like to mention that people like to argue me on is that salads are actually not good for most people to eat. You want to favor warm cooked veggies. There are certain cases where salads are okay, but they're raw veggies are so much harder for us to digest that we're taking all of our energy in digesting the veggies and we're not actually taking in all the nutrients. So if you cook them, saute them, bake them, that's much better for you, and you'll get more benefit from that.
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah.
Those are good recommendations. I want to say that I just started doing tongue scraping, which I've known about for a long time, but I've never done it. But it took this one sentence from somebody, and they said, either you scrape it off or you swallow the toxins. And that just like, that was it for me. I was like, okay, okay, I'm done. I'm going to scrape my tongue every week.
Yeah,
I am
very
not
true.
gonna swallow the toxins.
I'll have to use that next time.
Yeah, so every morning it takes 30 seconds. You do
Right.
like, 7 or 10 scrapes, scrape, rinse under the water, scrape, rinse under the water, scrape.
Could you
And
use your
one.
toothbrush?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
It's not
no,
as
yeah,
beneficial.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. You have a copper one and now you'll continue to get back. Excellent. Yeah. I personally love the copper ones. They also recommend that you drink out of a copper water bottle.
Yeah, I love those.
And you should always drink room temperature water. No cold water. Warm water is good too. No steaming hot. That's something that's been very difficult for me, even going on 3 years.
Especially in winter.
I love my cold water.
Yeah.
So yeah, no iced drinks. That's a big one.
Right.
Because it sort of puts the body in shock.
Yeah, you're just trying to maintain a balance and an ease in the body, which is why there's no cold water or extra hot water.
Does that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we can look up the benefits of copper. There are so many of them. So yeah, I know that Heather on her Etsy shop sells the copper tongue scrapers, which
I do.
I would like to have at some point. I have just a regular one.
And
anyway,
there is a discount code for everyone watching the Daily Intimacy. If you use intimacy at checkout, I think it's $3 off.
Great. Yeah,
if you're local, if you're local, we can work out a delivery system, COVID friendly.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing this information on the doshas. It's really interesting and it's so deep. So, there's a lot to look up and learn about. And I encourage you to do that. Yes, electrolytes for copper, absolutely. And minerals. Great. I was going to just go back to the daily rituals, like the tongue scraping, the dry or oil massage are the two things that I do regularly. I had forgotten about the eye wash with the rose water. I do have it as a spray and it just brings so much like soft energy to me. But an eye wash is actually a really fabulous thing to do, despite maybe the way you're thinking about it, like, ugh, who wants to put a cup over your eye? But I'll just say that I had like a sty in my eye a couple of years ago and I started doing it and it felt so awesome to rinse my eyes with water. So I want to encourage you to explore that a little bit. And the other thing we didn't mention was the neti pot, though we brought it up last week. And that's something that's just a regular rinse of the sinuses. And this is all, cleansing, detoxing, health affirming, practices that you can do on a daily basis. So I encourage you to explore your dosha further, think about these practices, and reach out to Heather if you have questions. And yeah, good. She's putting some more resources in there. And yeah, I wanted to also mention just in the last minute here, hopefully you got my email about a new offering that came to me in a meditation. It's going to be a monthly, smaller group than this, I assume. We'll see. Maybe as big as this, monthly coaching group that's meeting on Thursdays starting April 22nd, Earth Day. And I'm offering all of you from the Daily Intimacy the first month for free, just so you can come and check it out and see if it's something you want to continue with. So let me post the link actually right here in case you need it. Also, if you have questions, feel free to ask. It's going to be just a much deeper dive into the practices of come back to love, and a way to just really, really live your life from your heart, like regularly loving no matter what. It's a tall order, and it's entirely possible. As you know, I've been talking about, my life and so many of the practices I've been doing for many years, and the incredible things I've been learning in the last year or so. So powerful. So I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. Great with all these resources. I'm just going to put the discount code
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah. So
Oh,
just put in the discount code at the end, and the month is free. So just join us. And Heather, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Sharing with us.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah, sorry. There's so much knowledge, and I want you all to have all of it, and it's just not possible in an hour. I will post my email in the chat.
Great.
I'm also doing Zoom consultations, and hopefully soon COVID-friendly live consultations if you're in the area. So if you're interested, send me an email. We can work out a special price. But thank you, Robyn, so much for having me. It was so wonderful to work with you all and see the different constitutions.
Yeah, it's fun.
You will start to notice when you walk around now, oh, they kind of have Kapha features, or, oh, I wonder, is that Vata maybe?
Right. Yeah, interesting too if you have a partner or partners to kind of notice what you each are and the differences. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day. My dear friend Linda Manning's coming next week. She's a psychic and intuitive healer, and I'm excited to be with her. Passionate, loving, heart-centered woman. So some of you know her. Mwah. See you all next week. Bye. Have a great day. Many blessings.